In a small town, there lived a bright young boy named Liam. He was cheerful, curious, and full of energy. Liam loved to play with his friends, read books, and ask questions about everything around him. He had a smile that could light up any room, and he always tried to help others when he could. One sunny afternoon, Liam began feeling weak. At first it was only a little tiredness, but soon he could barely walk across the room. His parents, Maria and Daniel, became very worried. They watched as their lively boy grew quiet and tired. They decided to take him to the town hospital immediately. At the hospital, doctors examined Liam carefully. They ran many tests and looked at every detail of his health. Each day, new doctors tried different treatments. 15 doctors worked day and night, hoping to find a solution. They discussed his condition in long meetings and shared their ideas with each other. Still, nothing seemed to help. Liam's condition stayed the same, and sometimes it even got worse. Liam's parents stayed by his side. Every night, Maria held his hand and whispered, "We will find a way, my boy. Stay strong." Daniel tried to stay calm, but inside his heart was heavy. They could see their son struggling, and nothing seemed to work. The hospital was always busy. Nurses moved quickly through the halls, machines beeped constantly, and doctors rushed from one room to another. Among the staff was a janitor named Marcus. Marcus worked long hours cleaning rooms, arranging supplies, and making sure the hospital ran smoothly. He was quiet and respectful, but he had a sharp eye for details. He noticed things others often overlooked. Marcus had a young son named Daniel Jr. Daniel loved science and reading. He was very curious about the world and always asked questions. On weekends, he sometimes came with his father to the hospital. He would quietly watch doctors, listen to conversations, and read books in the waiting area. Marcus always encouraged his son to learn, observe, and think carefully. One day, as Marcus cleaned Liam's room, he noticed something unusual in Liam's charts. He saw details that seemed different from other cases he had seen. Curious, he mentioned it to Daniel Jr. "Daniel, look at this. You love puzzles. Maybe you can see something here that adults missed." Daniel Jr. carefully studied the charts. He noticed small patterns in the numbers and test results that pointed to a rare condition. It was something the doctors had not considered. His young mind worked quickly, connecting clues that seemed unrelated to others. Daniel Jr. felt nervous but determined. "Dad, I think I know what might be wrong with Liam. It's very rare, but I believe this could help him," he said softly. Marcus smiled and encouraged him. "If you think it can help, we should tell the doctors. Every bit of hope matters." The next day, Daniel Jr. spoke to the hospital staff. At first, some doctors were unsure. After all, he was just a young boy. But Daniel Jr. explained clearly what he had noticed. He showed the patterns, the symptoms, and suggested a possible approach. Slowly, the doctors began to pay attention. For the first time in weeks, Liam's parents felt a spark of hope. They looked at Marcus and his son with gratitude. Maria whispered, "Sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places." That day marked a turning point. What seemed like another ordinary day in the hospital became the beginning of an extraordinary story. A boy who watched quietly and a janitor who cared deeply were about to change everything for Liam. After Daniel Jr. shared his observations with the hospital staff, the atmosphere in Liam's room changed. The doctors were cautious but curious. They could not ignore the possibility that the boy had noticed something important. Slowly, they began reviewing Liam's charts again, this time with a fresh perspective. Maria and Daniel watched anxiously. They had spent weeks feeling helpless, seeing their son weak and tired. Now they felt a small spark of hope. "Maybe this time things will change," Maria whispered. Liam, sensing his parents' hope, tried to smile. His eyes shone with trust, and that small spark gave everyone a sense of encouragement. Daniel Jr. visited the hospital every day. He watched the doctors work and continued studying Liam's charts. He asked thoughtful questions and suggested careful tests. At first, some nurses and staff thought it was unusual that a young boy could understand so much, but soon they realized Daniel Jr. had a sharp mind and a gentle approach. Marcus quietly supported his son. "Be patient, Daniel. The doctors are listening now. Let's see what happens," he said. Marcus often reminded his son that caring, kindness, and attention to detail were just as important as knowledge. Together, they encouraged Liam, making him feel less alone. The doctors decided to perform a new series of tests based on Daniel Jr.'s observations. They took extra care to double-check every result. Each result brought them closer to understanding Liam's rare condition. The hospital halls, once filled with stress and worry, now carried a sense of hope. Staff began talking quietly about how unusual it was that a young boy had noticed what so many experienced professionals had missed. One afternoon, after reviewing the latest test results, Dr. Helen, one of the senior doctors, called Maria, Daniel, and Liam into her office. She spoke calmly but with a tone of excitement. "We may have found the root of Liam's problem. It is rare, but with the right care he can improve," she said. Maria's eyes filled with tears and Daniel held her hand tightly. Liam, though still weak, felt a little stronger just hearing the words. Daniel Jr. was invited into the office. The doctors explained their findings and confirmed that his observation had led them to the correct diagnosis. He felt proud, but he stayed humble. "I just wanted to help," he said softly. Marcus smiled. "You did more than help, Daniel. You brought hope." From that day on, Liam's treatment followed a new plan. The doctors carefully monitored his progress and adjusted his care based on his response. Slowly, day by day, Liam's strength returned. He could sit up longer, walk a few steps, and even smile more. Each small improvement filled the room with joy. Maria and Daniel often watched their son play quietly with small toys or read books in his hospital bed. They could not believe how far he had come. "All thanks to Daniel Jr., Daniel whispered to his wife one evening. Marcus nodded. "Sometimes fresh eyes see what experience alone might miss. Never underestimate curiosity and care." Liam and Daniel Jr. became friends even though Daniel Jr. was younger. Liam admired the boy's intelligence and kindness. He enjoyed talking to him about science, puzzles, and even small jokes. Their friendship brought happiness not just to them, but to everyone in the hospital who saw the positive energy between them. News about Daniel Jr.'s observations spread quietly in the hospital. Staff shared the story as an example of how courage, kindness, and careful observation can change lives. It reminded everyone that help can come from anyone, at any age, and that no effort is ever too small when it is done with care. By the end of the week, Liam could walk a little farther each day. His laughter returned, lightening the hospital halls. Maria and Daniel thanked the doctors and Marcus every day. They often hugged Daniel Jr., grateful for his bright mind and gentle heart. The boy who had been ignored at first had become a hero in their eyes, not because he was older or stronger, but because he cared enough to notice what others had missed, and so, what began as fear and worry slowly transformed into hope and joy. Liam's recovery was no longer a dream. It was becoming a reality, all because a young mind and a caring father had the courage to pay attention. After the new treatment plan began, a quiet excitement grew in Liam's hospital room. For the first time in many weeks, his parents could see real hope in his eyes. Each morning, Liam woke with a little more energy. He could sit up longer in bed and even hold his favorite storybook without feeling too tired. Maria and Daniel watched closely, celebrating each small victory as if it were a great achievement. Daniel Jr. continued visiting the hospital. He brought books, puzzles, and even small drawings to cheer Liam up. He would sit beside the bed and quietly explain things about science and nature in a way that made Liam laugh and think. The two boys became close friends, sharing ideas, jokes, and stories. Liam's smile returned more each day, and for Maria and Daniel, that was the most beautiful sight they could imagine. The doctors were amazed at Liam's progress. They often discussed his case in meetings, noting how quickly he was improving compared to expectations. Dr. Helen praised Daniel Jr. privately, saying, "Sometimes the simplest observations can lead to the greatest discoveries. This boy's insight helped save a life." Marcus, cleaning the nearby rooms, listened quietly and smiled. He felt proud not just of his son but of how small acts of care and attention could make a huge difference. Liam's body was healing, but his spirit also needed attention. Weeks of illness had made him nervous about moving and playing. Daniel Jr. noticed this and decided to encourage him gently. "Let's try something small today," he said one morning, placing a soft ball on the floor. "You can roll it to me and I will roll it back. Just one roll at a time." Liam hesitated but then slowly rolled the ball. Daniel Jr. clapped softly. "See, that was perfect. One step at a time." Liam smiled and tried again, feeling more confident. Each small action built his strength and courage. His laughter began to fill the room more often, and Maria sometimes joined in, clapping for both boys. The hospital staff also noticed the change. Nurses who had been worried for weeks now whispered about Liam's progress with quiet joy. Even other patients, seeing the boys play and laugh, felt uplifted. Marcus often said, "Kindness spreads faster than any illness, and hope grows stronger when it is shared." One afternoon, Liam's doctors decided to test his strength more carefully. They encouraged him to walk a few steps across the room. With Daniel Jr. supporting him from one side and Maria on the other, Liam took small, careful steps. Each step was shaky, but he kept going. At the end, he turned to Daniel Jr. and said, "I did it." Daniel Jr. smiled brightly. "I knew you could. See what patience and courage can do?" That evening, Liam's parents shared a quiet moment in the hospital garden. The sun was setting and a gentle breeze moved through the trees. Maria whispered, "It is amazing how a young boy saw what no one else did." Daniel Jr. gave Liam hope when we felt helpless. Daniel nodded, holding her hand tightly. And sometimes hope is the most powerful medicine of all. As the days passed, Liam's strength grew steadily. He could walk longer distances, play simple games, and even read stories aloud. Daniel Jr. continued bringing puzzles and new ideas, keeping Liam engaged and happy. Their bond became stronger, and together they discovered that courage, kindness, and curiosity could change lives. The story of Liam's recovery began to spread quietly through the hospital. Staff members admired the unusual friendship between the boys and the care of Marcus. They realized that helping someone was not just about knowledge or experience. It was also about attention, understanding, and compassion. By the end of part 3, Liam's room no longer felt like a place of worry. It had become a place of hope, learning, and laughter. Each day brought small victories, and every smile strengthened the belief that miracles could happen when people cared and noticed what others might miss. The journey was far from over, but for Liam, Daniel Jr., and their families, the first signs of real change were enough to keep hope alive. As the days passed, Liam continued to grow stronger. He could walk longer distances, play gentle games, and even read aloud with ease. His laughter returned to the hospital halls, and Maria and Daniel felt their hearts lighten with every small victory. Yet the journey was not without challenges. Liam's body was still weak, and there were moments when he would feel tired suddenly or need extra help. Daniel Jr. stayed by his side, always ready with encouragement. "Take your time, Liam. Every step counts," he would say with a gentle smile. Liam looked up at him and nodded, trusting the young boy who had first noticed what the doctors had missed. Their friendship had grown strong, filled with trust, laughter, and shared curiosity. One morning, Dr. Helen came to Liam's room with a thoughtful expression. "Liam, we are making great progress, but we need to try some new exercises to help your muscles grow stronger," she explained. Liam looked nervous. The exercises seemed difficult and he worried he might fail. Daniel Jr. quickly knelt beside him. "Don't worry. We will do it together, step by step," he said, giving Liam courage. The exercises were slow and careful at first. Liam struggled to lift his arms, bend, and move, but he never gave up. Daniel Jr. cheered him on, turning each task into a small game. Sometimes they would pretend the floor was lava and step only on safe spots. Other times they counted jumps or made patterns with blocks before moving. Liam laughed more than he thought he could, forgetting the fear and pain for moments of joy. Maria and Daniel watched proudly. "It is amazing how Daniel Jr. makes these exercises fun," Maria whispered. Daniel nodded. "It is more than fun. It is hope, patience, and courage in action." The hospital staff also noticed the difference. Nurses often paused to watch Liam move, smiling at the way the boys encouraged each other. Even other patients felt inspired, seeing how determination could bring progress. One day, while practicing walking with Daniel Jr., Liam stumbled slightly. He felt discouraged and wanted to sit down. Daniel Jr. held his hand firmly but gently. "Liam, remember how far you've come. Every fall is part of learning. Let's try again together," he said softly. Liam took a deep breath, nodded, and stood up. With careful steps, he made it across the room. When he reached the other side, both boys cheered. The sound of their laughter brought smiles to everyone around. That evening, Liam's parents sat in the garden with him. The sun was soft and warm, casting golden light across the grass. Liam smiled up at them. "I feel stronger today," he said proudly. Maria hugged him tightly. "You are stronger than you know, Liam, and Daniel Jr. has helped you see that," she said. Liam nodded, feeling grateful for the boy who had first noticed what no one else could. Marcus, watching from nearby, felt a quiet pride. He remembered the first time Daniel Jr. had noticed the unusual pattern in Liam's charts. No one expected a young boy to help solve such a difficult problem, yet here they were, seeing hope grow stronger each day. "Sometimes the smallest eyes notice the biggest things," he whispered to himself. Despite the progress, Liam faced new challenges. Some days were slower than others, and he still grew tired. But with Daniel Jr.'s encouragement, he learned to be patient and celebrate every small success. He discovered that even when progress is slow, determination and courage can create real change. By the end of Part 4, Liam had made remarkable progress. He could move more freely, laugh more often, and even help Daniel Jr. with small tasks. The hospital room, once quiet and heavy with worry, now echoed with joy, encouragement, and hope. Liam's journey showed that strength does not come only from the body, it comes from the heart, support from friends, and the courage to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. And so Liam's path toward recovery continued, filled with small victories, laughter, and the reminder that even the youngest among us can make a life-changing difference. Liam's recovery had reached a new stage. He was no longer confined to his hospital bed, and each day brought new opportunities to move, play, and explore. His small victories were becoming larger, and the hospital staff began noticing the remarkable changes. Yet Liam knew that the journey was still not over. He had to learn to be independent again, to trust his own strength, and to believe in himself. Daniel Jr. continued to support him every step of the way. Together they designed little challenges that helped Liam regain control of his body. Sometimes they played simple games like stacking blocks or passing a ball. Other times they walked slowly down the hospital hallway, counting each step carefully. The exercises were fun, and they gave Liam a sense of achievement. Each success, no matter how small, added to his confidence. Maria and Daniel watched their son with pride. They could see how much he had grown, not just in strength, but in spirit. "Liam, you are learning to trust yourself again," Maria said one morning, smiling. Liam nodded, feeling proud. "I can do it, Mom," he replied softly, but with determination in his voice. Dr. Helen visited Liam that day to check on his progress. She noticed how confidently he walked a short distance without assistance. "You are improving faster than we expected," she said warmly. Liam beamed, glancing at Daniel Jr., who was quietly cheering him on. The doctors and nurses were amazed at the unusual friendship between the two boys. Daniel Jr.'s guidance had helped Liam regain not only his strength but also his confidence. One afternoon, Liam faced a new challenge. He had to walk to the hospital garden on his own for the first time. The garden was a short distance from his room, but it felt like a mountain to him. He hesitated at the door, unsure if he could make it without support. Daniel Jr. knelt beside him. "Liam, I know you can do this. Take it one step at a time. I'm right here if you need me," he said. Liam took a deep breath and began walking. Each step was careful and deliberate. His legs felt weak, but his heart was strong. Maria and Daniel watched from the window, holding their breaths. Slowly, step by step, Liam moved forward. He stumbled slightly once, but Daniel Jr. steadied him gently. When Liam finally reached the garden, he turned to the boy who had guided him and said, "I did it." Daniel Jr. smiled broadly. "You did it all by yourself, Liam. You just needed to believe in yourself." Liam laughed, feeling a sense of freedom he had not felt in weeks. The garden felt like a new world, filled with sunlight, fresh air, and possibilities. He spent the afternoon exploring, picking flowers, and watching the birds. It was a small victory, but it was one that marked a turning point in his recovery. Marcus watched from a distance, feeling a quiet pride. "Sometimes the strongest medicine is courage and belief," he whispered to himself. He had always known that his son had a kind and clever heart, but now he saw the real impact of that kindness. Daniel Jr. had given Liam hope, confidence, and the courage to take his first independent steps. Even the hospital staff felt inspired. Seeing a young boy guide a patient to recovery reminded everyone that hope could come from the most unexpected places. Nurses began to encourage other patients with small games and exercises, using Daniel Jr.'s approach as an example. The atmosphere in the hospital slowly transformed from worry to encouragement, from fear to hope. By the end of Part 5, Liam could walk short distances alone, participate in gentle activities, and even help Daniel Jr. with simple tasks. Each day his independence grew and his spirit became stronger. His laughter filled the halls, his smile warmed the hearts of everyone around him, and his journey became a story of courage, determination, and the power of friendship. Liam had come a long way, but the best part of his recovery was not just physical. It was the lesson that determination, support, and belief in oneself could overcome even the most difficult challenges. With Daniel Jr. by his side and his parents' love surrounding him, Liam was ready to face the next stage of his journey, stronger than ever before. Liam had grown stronger and more confident each day. He could walk longer distances, play games, and even read aloud without tiring quickly. Yet, one afternoon a new challenge appeared that tested more than just his physical strength. It tested his courage and determination. The hospital announced a small sports day for children recovering from illnesses. There would be simple races, obstacle courses, and fun games. For many kids, it was a chance to play, laugh, and feel proud. For Liam, however, it was a daunting thought. He had not run or participated in any activity like this for weeks. The fear of falling or not keeping up made him nervous. Daniel Jr. noticed Liam's hesitation. "Liam, I know it feels scary, but you can do it." "We will practice together first," he said gently. Liam looked at his friend unsure. "What if I fall?" he whispered. Daniel Jr. smiled. "Then we get up and try again. Every step counts. You are ready?" "I promise." The two boys spent the afternoon practicing in a quiet hallway. They ran short distances, hopped over small lines on the floor, and balanced carefully on low benches. With each try, Liam became more confident. He laughed when he stumbled, knowing Daniel Jr. was right beside him. By the end of the practice, Liam felt ready for the sports day. The next morning, the hospital garden was filled with children, nurses, doctors, and families. The sun shone brightly and colorful balloons swayed in the gentle breeze. Liam's heart raced as he approached the starting line. He looked at Daniel Jr., who gave him a reassuring nod. "You've got this. Just have fun," he whispered. Liam took a deep breath, feeling both nervous and excited. The first game was a short race. Liam's legs felt weak at first, but he focused on each step. He remembered the weeks of practice, the encouragement from Daniel Jr., and the love of his parents. Step by step, he moved forward. Slowly, he began to pick up speed. The wind brushed his face, and he felt a freedom he had not felt in a long time. As he crossed the finish line, Liam's friends cheered. Maria and Daniel clapped, tears of joy in their eyes. Daniel Jr. ran up to him. "You did it." "I knew you could," he said. Liam smiled, his chest full of pride. He realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but the willingness to try despite it. The day continued with obstacle courses and simple games. Liam faced each challenge with determination. He balanced over small beams, hopped between markers, and even joined a gentle ball game. Every step he took was a victory, and every smile he shared inspired the other children. By the end of the day, Liam felt exhausted but happy. He had not only played, but had also proven to himself that he could overcome fear. Marcus watched proudly from the sidelines. He had always believed in his son's intelligence and kindness, but now he saw the real impact. Daniel Jr. had not only helped Liam recover physically, but had also helped him regain courage and self-confidence. "A little hope can move mountains," Marcus thought quietly, smiling. As the sun began to set, Liam and Daniel Jr. sat together on a bench. Liam looked at his friend. "Thank you for helping me, Daniel." "I never thought I could do this," he said softly. Daniel Jr. smiled. "You did it all by yourself, Liam. I just reminded you of the strength you already had." That evening, Maria and Daniel hugged Liam tightly. "We are so proud of you," Maria said. "Today you showed courage that will stay with you forever." Liam smiled, feeling happy and confident. He knew the journey was not over, but he also knew he had the strength to face any challenge with the support of friends and family. By the end of Part 6, Liam had not only regained his physical strength, but had also discovered the courage within himself. Each small step, each challenge, and each victory had brought him closer to independence and happiness. He realized that determination, hope, and friendship were as important as medicine, and that even in the hardest moments, courage could light the way forward. Liam's journey of recovery had reached an exciting stage. He was stronger, more confident and full of energy that had been missing for so long. Every day he amazed his parents, the doctors, and even the hospital staff with his progress. But one day an event came that would mark a true milestone in his recovery, a moment that would fill everyone's hearts with hope and joy. The hospital announced a small celebration for children who had made significant progress. There would be certificates, applause, and a chance for each child to share their journey. Liam's parents were eager for him to participate, but he felt nervous. "What if I can't do it?" he asked quietly. Daniel Jr. smiled. "You've already done so much. This is just another step to show everyone how strong you are. I'll be right there with you." The day of the celebration arrived. The hospital garden was decorated with colorful banners and balloons. Families, doctors, nurses, and children filled the area, creating an atmosphere of excitement and encouragement. Liam took a deep breath, holding his mother's hand. Daniel Jr. stood beside him, ready to offer reassurance. "You are ready, Liam. Just walk proudly and smile," he said. When it was Liam's turn, he walked slowly to the stage. Each step was steady, confident, and full of pride. The applause of everyone around made his heart race with happiness. Maria and Daniel clapped and cheered, tears of joy in their eyes. Liam reached the stage and took the microphone carefully. "Hello, everyone," he began. His voice was soft at first, but as he spoke, it grew stronger. "I want to thank my parents, my friends, and Daniel Jr. They helped me when I could not do it alone. I learned that courage, hope, and support can make impossible things possible." The crowd cheered loudly. The doctors smiled, impressed by the boy's courage and maturity. Nurses whispered to each other, marveling at Liam's journey. It was a moment that reminded everyone that recovery is not just about medicine. It is about heart, hope, and belief in oneself. After the speech, Liam was awarded a small certificate for his courage and determination. He held it proudly, glancing at Daniel Jr., who clapped with excitement. "You earned this, Liam. You never gave up," Daniel Jr. said. Liam smiled brightly. "We both did it together," he replied. Later, the hospital organized fun activities. Liam played gentle games, walked in the garden, and even helped Daniel Jr. set up a small obstacle course for other children. His confidence had grown so much that he could now guide and encourage others. For the first time, he felt not only strong but also capable of helping others, just as Daniel Jr. had helped him. Marcus watched with quiet pride. He remembered when his son had first noticed the unusual details in Liam's charts. At that time, no one expected a young boy to make such a difference. Now Daniel Jr.'s courage and care had not only helped Liam recover, but had also inspired everyone around them. Sometimes the smallest acts create the biggest changes, Marcus thought, smiling. As the day came to an end, Liam sat with his parents and Daniel Jr. in a quiet corner of the garden. The sun was setting, casting warm golden light across the flowers and trees. Liam held his certificate and looked at the two people who had helped him the most. "I feel stronger every day," he said softly. "Not just in my body, but in my heart." Maria hugged him tightly. "We are so proud of you, Liam. You have shown courage that will stay with you forever." Daniel Jr. smiled and patted Liam on the shoulder. "You did it, Liam. You faced every challenge step by step. That is what makes you strong." Liam felt proud, realizing that his journey had not just been about recovering his health, but also about learning courage, hope, and the power of friendship. By the end of Part 7, Liam had reached an important milestone. He could walk confidently, speak proudly, and share his story of determination. His progress inspired everyone around him, showing that even in the hardest moments, hope, courage, and support can create miracles. Liam's journey was not over, but he now knew that with belief, patience, and care, he could face anything. His life had changed forever, and the story of his recovery was a powerful reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary help comes from the most unexpected places. After weeks of careful treatment, exercises, and encouragement, Liam had reached a stage few had imagined possible when his journey began. His body was stronger, his steps steadier, and his heart full of confidence. Each day he could walk longer distances, play games, and even read stories aloud to other children. What once seemed impossible had now become his new reality. Liam's parents, Maria and Daniel, could hardly believe the change. They remembered the first days in the hospital, filled with worry, uncertainty, and fear. Now their son laughed freely, ran small distances without hesitation, and spoke with joy about his plans for the future. Every small victory along the way had become a celebration, and every smile reminded them of the power of hope and persistence. Daniel Jr. continued to visit, bringing books, puzzles, and ideas for games. The two boys had become inseparable friends. Liam admired Daniel Jr.'s sharp mind and kind heart, while Daniel Jr. admired Liam's courage and determination. Together they inspired each other and everyone around them. Sometimes they played quiet games in the garden, and other times they created small learning activities for other children in the hospital. Their friendship had become a source of strength and encouragement for everyone. The hospital staff watched with amazement as Liam's progress continued. Nurses and doctors often shared stories of his recovery with other patients and families. They spoke of how determination, courage, and the support of a young boy had helped Liam overcome obstacles that had seemed impossible. Marcus, Daniel Jr.'s father, quietly observed the scene, feeling a deep sense of pride. He remembered the day his son had first noticed the unusual details in Liam's charts, and realized how far things had come since then. One bright morning, Dr. Helen called Liam and his parents into her office. She smiled warmly and said, "Liam, you have made incredible progress. Your strength, courage, and determination have brought you back to full health. You can now return home, and we believe you will continue to grow stronger every day." Maria and Daniel hugged Liam tightly, their hearts overflowing with joy. Liam looked at Daniel Jr., who had been quietly waiting outside. "We did it," he said softly. Daniel Jr. smiled and nodded. "Yes, you did it, Liam. I just reminded you of the strength you already had." Returning home was a new adventure for Liam. His neighborhood had missed him, and his friends were excited to see him running, playing, and laughing again. He shared his stories of recovery, the games he had played with Daniel Jr., and the lessons he had learned about courage, patience, and hope. Everyone listened in admiration, inspired by his journey. Liam's experience also changed the way he looked at the world. He learned that help could come from unexpected places, that kindness and attention could change lives, and that courage was about trying, even when things seemed impossible. He felt a new sense of responsibility to help others, just as Daniel Jr. had helped him. Marcus and Daniel Jr. continued to visit Liam often. Together they explored parks, built small projects, and shared ideas for learning. The boys laughed, played, and discovered new ways to challenge themselves. Liam had not only recovered physically, but had grown wiser, kinder, and more confident in himself. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Liam sat with his parents and Daniel Jr. in their backyard. He held a small notebook filled with drawings, puzzles, and ideas for the future. "I feel happy and strong now," he said softly. Maria smiled. "You are stronger than ever, Liam, because you believed in yourself and let others help you." Daniel nodded. "And you have shown everyone that hope, courage, and friendship can create miracles." From that day forward, Liam's life was filled with learning, laughter, and new adventures. His journey from weakness to strength became a story that inspired his friends, neighbors, and everyone who heard it. He knew that challenges might appear in the future, but with courage, patience, and support, he could face anything. Liam had learned that the impossible could become possible when people cared, noticed, and worked together. And as he ran across the open fields near his home, smiling and free, he knew that life was not just about recovery. It was about hope, friendship, and the courage to keep moving forward, no matter what.